Ever wonder how photographers create such emotional images? The answer lies with being able to effectively communicate. Many people believe that being a photographer means being able to do nothing more than push a shutter button. However, a photographer must learn to effectively communicate if he or she wants to have a successful photography business. For someone living with cerebral palsy, a career in the photography industry may seem unlikely. However, sometimes there is a natural talent that cannot be ignored. The interest starts out as a hobby or therapeutic activity and then evolves with the help of family and friends. The hobby slowly evolves into a substantial career opportunity. A quick look at the photography industry shows a rough road ahead for anybody entering the industry. A photographer can enter into the photography industry with nothing more than a high school diploma. However, when someone is entering into the photography industry, they better be prepared for long-term training. Photographers may travel to places all over the world, or they may work within a studio. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2012, the median pay for photographers was only $28,490 per year, equaling a mere $13.70 per hour. In 2012, the photography industry was responsible for a total of 136,300 jobs. However, the projected outlook from 2012 to 2022 indicates only a 4% change within the photography industry. This is well below the average for any other industry in the U.S. economy. This report will discuss communication within the photography industry. Specifically, this report will touch on communication between photographers and other businesses, communication between photographers and clients, and it will explain how technology has impacted communication within the photography industry. Communication plays a major role in any type of business. However, communication is even more crucial within a photography business. A photographer must effectively communicate with other businesses and clients alike. A photographer works with many different businesses throughout his or her career. These businesses include camera companies, printing companies, and other local businesses. A photographer must choose an appropriate method of communication in order to communicate effectively. In an interview, Travis Peltz, a photographer with 5 years of experience, described the different ways he communicates with other businesses. He states, "As a photographer, most of my communication is done over email or social media in an informal manner. In addition, Travis explains that he feels more comfortable when communicating with other businesses in an informal manner. In addition to social media and email, photographers can communicate with other businesses through phone calls. Phone calls allow the photographer to incorporate their personality and sincerity within the communication. In addition, contrary to the world we live in where we would much rather just send text messages, sometimes it is much faster if you just pick up the phone and call somebody. Skip Cohen, a participant in the photography industry since 1987, explains personally, I use the phone all the time to talk with other photographers. There is so much more you can get out of the communication, and it is not uncommon for me to call somebody who's tweeted something supportive and find out more about them. In a world of technology, written communication seems to have been forgotten. However, written communication is a great way for photographers to communicate with other businesses. For example, a local business owner purchases a canvas print to decorate an office. A photographer should send a handwritten thank you note on the photographer's own stationery after the print has been delivered. A gesture as simple as a thank you note can go a long ways. The note will provide an example of the photographer's kindness, plus provide the business with the photographer's contact information. A photographer and other businesses can create a long-term partnership when they communicate effectively. The following example describes how a photographer was able to create a long-term partnership with an art director from a high-tech firm. The art director would imagine specific scenes and then ask the photographer to make them a reality. The photographer took it upon himself to explain to the art director exactly what he could and could not do. The photographer discussed concepts such as depth of field and wide-angle photography with the art director. As a result, the art director now was able to communicate exactly what he wanted from the photographer in a way that the photographer understood. Communication between photographers and clients is different to that of photographers and other businesses. In order to communicate professional images, a photographer must communicate constantly with a client. This includes communication between a client and photographer before, during, and after a photo shoot. In an interview, Shauna Zillis-Gusby, a young woman who is just starting a modeling career, describes the communication process between a photographer and a model. She states, "All of the communication has been through email or Facebook Messenger. We both agree on what we are going to do, then we do it, and then he will send me pictures with a comment or ask for my opinion on it." In addition to email and social media, a photographer may meet with a client face-to-face. Sam Paxton, a photographer with 20 years of experience, describes the different ways a photographer can communicate with a client before, during, and after a photo shoot. Before a photo shoot, a photographer may meet with a client and ask a series of questions to create goals for the photo shoot. These questions include: why do you want to work with me? How are the images going to be used? And do you prefer color or black and white photos? During a photo session, a photographer should explain what they are doing. This will help relieve tension and stress between the photographer and the client. In addition, during a photo shoot, a photographer should provide encouragement to the client. A way a photographer can provide encouragement is simply by showing them some of the images on the camera. Once the photographer knows that a good photo has been taken, he or she should simply just review the photo with the client. That way there, the client knows what they are doing correctly. Photographers and clients can maintain a long-term partnership by communicating effectively. In order to create a long-term partnership, there are many things a photographer and client should and should not do. A photographer needs to take control of a photo shoot. Although there may be other people, such as a lighting crew or makeup artist, that each have their own opinion, it is up to the photographer to create the final image. A photographer should also be honest with the client. There is no need to lie about the cost of a photo shoot, only to surprise the client at the end of the photo shoot by charging much more. Finally, a photographer should remember that clients are people themselves. Sometimes a client may become ill or have an emergency that requires their attention. The photographer should remain calm and figure out a time that works best for both the client and photographer. Technology, like anything else these days, has a major impact on communication. The entire process of scheduling, brainstorming photo ideas, creating the specific photos, and delivering a finished product all require some sort of technology. Technology has provided many advantages within with communication within the photography industry. Travis Peltz explains, without technology, I wouldn't be able to utilize social media from my laptop or smartphone. Technology makes communication fast and breaks down the barriers of an office. As previously stated, Shauna Zowski described how all of the communication she had with her photographer has been through email or social media. This even included photo distribution. Advances in technology have also created some new obstacles for communication within the photography industry. Although communicating through email or social media is fast and simple, it is just written words. Therefore, a photographer must communicate clearly and concisely in order to prevent his or her words from being misinterpreted. Although social media is a great way for photographers to connect with clients and other photographers, it also opens the door for trolls. Trolls are people who post negative comments on social media. A photographer should avoid responding to these comments. In conclusion, communication plays a crucial role within the photography industry. Photographers need to communicate with other businesses through email, social media, phone calls, and even written notes. Being able to effectively communicate with other businesses increases the chances of a long-term partnership. Photographers must also communicate with clients. This includes communication before, during, and after a photo shoot. Photographers should ask questions before a photo shoot in order to create goals, specific goals for the photo shoot. During the photo shoot, a photographer should provide the client with encouragement. In order to do this, a photographer could simply show some of the photos straight from the camera. Finally, technology has had a major impact on communication within the photography industry. Technology has made communicating simple and fast for photographers. However, technology has also created obstacles such as an increased chance of misinterpretation and internet trolls that create a negative image. I hope you enjoyed this presentation on communication within the photography industry. Thank you.